and welcome to Messy Church. How are you? We really hope you're well. We're missing you all so much. Doesn't it feel strange not to be with each other? I'm so sorry that we're not meeting in the church this week for our Messy Church, or even outside for Forest Church as we'd planned. But we've got some great activities for you to do at home and a great story to tell too, because this week we're exploring, of course, the Easter story. And if you thought Messy Church was all about mess, well, this week it will be, but I'm afraid you'll have to clear up your own mess at home. And we're going to talk about how Jesus came to clear up a really big mess, which is what the Easter story is all about. So here we've got some crafts for you to enjoy. You can pause the video and go and get what you need, or you can come back to it sometime later in the week. We hope you're going to have so much fun, and we can't wait to see the pictures of all the crafts that you have made at Messy Church at home. Enjoy!
1, 2, 3, 4. One mother hen sat on 4 little eggs, keep him warm in a little egg nest. Then one day she heard a crack, and a little voice said as the egg was hatched, I'm a spring chicken, I'm yellow and small. My feathers are fluffy and they're keeping me warm. My legs are not long, so I'll never be tall. I'm a real spring chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken, I'm a chicken and I'm having a ball.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to show you how to create these lovely little butterflies using scrap pieces of paper at home. You will need wrapping paper or scrap coloured paper. If you don't have any of those at home, don't worry. You can print off the templates and then colour in your own butterflies at home and just cut them out. I've made the template out of card. It makes it a little bit easier for the smaller ones to be able to do this independently. Taking a piece of wrapping paper, you can draw around the template, and with the scissors then cutting out the outline. Then pat them down on the table, starting at the narrow end. You carefully fold a very small piece of paper over. Turn it back up to face you, turn it over again. Press the fold down, turn it over again. So you're making a concertina along the whole length of the butterfly shape. Making sure that the creases are firmly pressed in. Once you get to this stage, we then fold it in half and give it a firm pinch in the middle. Taking a pipe cleaner or a piece of string, wrap it round the middle, give it a twist or tie a knot, then carefully open out your butterfly wings, like so. This one I created from using a larger template, just creating that myself, making the shape bigger. It was easier to do it symmetrically, folding it in half.
Hello everyone, this month for Messy Church we are going to be making Easter biscuits.
So first of all we need 150 grams of flour. That's plain flour, yeah? Or half a teaspoon of baking powder. Yeah, pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
Just like to say we have washed our hands. Cinnamon. So this is the nice sort of Easter taste, if you like, that you would normally have with hot cross buns. But if you haven't got yeast, then it's a good alternative. Or you might want to put some like nutmeg in, or you might want to make them chocolatey. Take out some of the flour and use some cocoa. Yeah. So we need 50 grams of butter, which might be about like that. So we just need to chop that up into little cubes.
Chopped up,
Right, and then we rub it in with our fingers.
which you will do, because I can't.
Oh, it's time to learn, Rose. So what you do is you kind of mush it in your fingers. Feels lovely.
So as you can see, we have rubbed it in so it looks like breadcrumbs, and all the ingredients we put into that are mixed together.
I'll make that. There you go. We need 50 grams of light soft brown sugar. So
I'm stirring in the sugar to make it sugary.
just need a tablespoon, Donna. I think that would be about right. We're aiming for 30 grams here. A little bit more than that. Just shy of 2 tablespoons really. And then I'm going to beat an egg into it. Fortunately we've got one there. So just using a fork. There you go. How's that feel, Rose?
Gloopy.
Excellent. Anyway, there you go. Nice and gloopy.
In it goes. Gloopy, gloopy, gloopy.
How's that?
Thank you very much.
Now we just beat it with a spoon. Mix it all together. Yeah, wooden spoon.
So as you can see, it's starting to come together.
Look at that. It smells really nice. It's lovely.
It's a golden syrup.
Yeah. That's it. That's our biscuit loaves. Gorgeous. So the oven heats up to 160 degrees. That's gas mark 3, or if you've got a fan oven, 140 degrees. I paused it because I thought, yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Should we go for it again? I quite like the hands. Yeah, do a butterfly. Here's our first batch out of the oven. So they need to cool and then we'll ice them.
So next we need to make the icing.
Okay, we're going to use 150 grams of icing sugar. There, you
That is
No.
lumpy.
use a spoon. Yeah, so we're going to mix in a bit of boiling water. 1 spoon. See how that does. We might need to stick another one in. Obviously, we're going to need food colouring. And today we just have orange, so it's going to be orange. Should we try another spoonful?
Yeah.
Not your fingers because this is hot.
So it's hot.
Well done. And we do have sprinkles, so
Of course.
right.
Whoa, that's orange. Wow.
Well, there's your lovely crush you made.
Aha.
So basically, go for it. Decorate, sprinkle. When they're set and ready, eat them. Happy making. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Ta-da!
Beautiful.
Happy Easter.
Hello. For the second activity, I'm going to show you how to make this bird feeder using a recyclable bottle at home. Before you start this activity with your little one, I would prepare the bottle beforehand, making where these dark circles, full circles are, to put the pencils in, the smaller holes for the birdseed, holes at the neck of the bottle for the string to go in, and holes at the bottom for some drainage. Pencil holes with your little ones, they push the pencil through either side of the bottle, forming a cross for the birds to perch on. like so. Using some string, make a handle, threading that through. And using your seeds, carefully making as much mess as I usually do when I'm in church. Firmly placing the lid back on, tie a knot, and you're ready to go.
Hi, I'm Debbie and my craft is called the Invisible Ink Craft, and for this craft you need a small bowl of water, a earbud, cotton bud, and a piece of paper. With your cotton bud, dip it in the milk and write a message. Wonder if you know what my message is going to be. You can be as creative as you like. You could draw a picture, you could write your name, you could write a secret message to somebody. There we go. Now I need to leave my message to dry for about 30 minutes. It needs to be completely dry for the next part of this craft to work. I was hoping it would ring, but it's not ringing. Why is it not ringing? Doing it the wrong way. Ah! Put it on the table to ring. For the next part, you need an adult, and your adult needs an iron and an ironing board. And your adult presses down on your piece of paper and irons the piece of paper. It does take quite a long time, so you need to be quite persistent and wait. But as your adult irons your piece of paper, a message should start to appear. You know, this reminds me that sometimes Jesus said and did things that didn't always make sense. God's message of love is almost like an amazing secret, like we've had revealed today, that we only really understand after Jesus is crucified and comes back to life. Hope you have fun doing your craft. Bye.
Here we go.
We have our snacks.
Apple.
Apple. Healthy. Breadsticks. Tasty. And carrot. Crunchy. Goodbye.
I really hope you've enjoyed making those crafts. Maybe you're planning to do them later in the week. Either way, we can't wait to see what you've managed to create, and I hope you have lots of fun while you're doing it. And now it's time for me to tell you a story. And this week, of course, it's the Easter story. And if you want to think about messy, the Easter story is all about lots of messiness. And it starts before the world was created. Because God saw the darkness and was so full of love that God decided to change that darkness and made it into light and life. The planet came about and everything that grows on it, including you and me, humans. And God loves humans so much. But we decided we knew better than God. And so rather than listening to the things that God had in store for us, we went our own way, and it got really, really messy. To help us in our mess, God sent Jesus, who is God, God's Son and God himself, God and human all rolled into one. God sent Jesus down from heaven onto earth, and it was really messy. Perhaps you remember the story when Jesus came to earth as a baby at Christmas, into the mess of the stable and into the mess of human lives. And Jesus grew. He grew to be a man, and he taught people how to love each other, and he showed people God's love through signs and miracles, healing people, teaching them how God wants us to live. But that was messy too, because some people didn't like what he had to say. Jesus challenged their way of living, and they didn't like that. One Sunday, Jesus rode into Jerusalem. We've just celebrated it last week, Palm Sunday. The crowds were so excited to see Jesus that they took their own coats off their backs and put them on the road. They tore branches off trees and put leaves on the ground so that the donkey Jesus was riding on would have a smooth path. And so Jesus came into the city, and the crowds at the beginning of the week were so excited to see him. But the week got messier and messier. Jesus went into the temple, the holy place, but he saw that people were doing wrong things there. So in anger, he turned over tables and told people that they were making the house of God into a den of thieves. Then one of Jesus' own friends chose to betray him. He knew that others wanted Jesus arrested to get rid of him somehow. So Judas, that's Jesus' friend, he went to some of the people who wanted to arrest Jesus, and he said, "I'll tell you where he is on Thursday evening, but what will it cost? I think I need some silver for it." So the people gave Judas 30 silver coins to betray his friend, Jesus, the Son of God. On the Thursday evening, Jesus met with his friends for a festival. He knelt down on the floor and washed the messiness from their feet, their tired feet that had walked around on dusty streets all day. He washed it all away. And then he sat at dinner with them, and as they shared food, they chatted. But Jesus already knew that Judas had betrayed him, and Judas left. At the end of the meal, Jesus took bread and wine and said, "These are like my body and blood. They're going to be broken and shed for you, because I love you very much." After the meal had ended, Jesus and his friends went to the garden where Jesus wanted to pray. And it was there that Judas arrived with those who wanted to arrest Jesus. Judas came to Jesus and kissed him on the cheek, letting those with him know that this was the man, this was Jesus. So they arrested Jesus, they took him away. And Jesus came before different leaders, and he said nothing. He didn't shout about the fact that he'd done nothing wrong. He was quiet. Even though his friends had betrayed him, some friends decided to leave him completely. Jesus didn't protest. He went quietly. And some leaders said, "I can't find anything wrong with this man. Why do you want me to put him away?" But that crowd that was so excited to see Jesus at the beginning of the week said, "We want him dead. We want you to kill Jesus." And so it was decided that Jesus would die and he would be put to death on the cross. So they strapped a huge timber to Jesus' back. They made fun of him. They hit him. They whipped him. And they made him carry this huge log all the way up the steep hill. And there, this log was fixed to another in the shape of a cross, with one of Jesus' hands nailed on each side and his feet in the middle. And there he was left to die. As he took his final breath, the world went black. The earth shook, and Jesus died. His friends and family who had remained to see the end of his life took Jesus' body and laid it in a tomb. But then they had to hurry home because it was the day of rest and nobody should be out and about on that day. So all of Saturday they waited, knowing that they hadn't done what they wanted to anoint Jesus' body with oils and spices, to pay their respects to their friend, to weep over his death. They waited all of Saturday while Jesus laid in the tomb. And then early Sunday morning, they raced back there. They were laden with all the things they wanted to use on his body, the oils and spices that would preserve their friend's body. And so they got to the tomb, not knowing quite what would happen, because they weren't sure how they would move the stone away. And then they saw the stone had already been moved away. But there was nobody around. How could this happen? So, slowly and carefully, they went into the tomb. But what they saw there wasn't Jesus' body. They saw an angel, bright with light, and some folded clothes of the grave that once had been on Jesus. The angel said, "I don't know why you're looking for him here. He's not here. He's alive. Jesus is alive." The friends stumbled back out of the tomb, hardly knowing what to make of it. They rushed back to the others and said, "You've got to come, something is strange." One friend remained in the garden and saw a man. She thought it must be the gardener who looked after all the tombs, and said, "Where have you put my friend?" And the man simply said, "Mary," which was her name. And she knew straight away that this was Jesus, and he was alive. The friends could hardly believe it. And after that first morning, Jesus appeared to them in different places. He truly was alive. And he was alive because God wanted to show everybody that not even death would be a big challenge for God. God could defeat death and would defeat death because he loves us so much. You see, it needed to be Jesus who died because we'd gone our own way and Jesus hadn't. He'd followed God to the last. And because he'd done that, he died innocent, completely without wrong. And he died in place of all the things we have done wrong. So we know that our sins are forgiven. All the wrong things that we have done are washed away. And we know that we can live forever because even death has been beaten when Jesus was raised back to life. And that's why it's the best story ever. Jesus came into our messiness and made it all okay again. That's why we celebrate Easter. That's why it's the best story ever.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. 1, 2, 3, 4. One mother hen sat on 4 little eggs, keeping warm in a little egg nest. Then one day she heard a crack, and a little voice said as the egg was hatched, "I'm a spring chicken, I'm yellow and small. My feathers are fluffy and they're keeping me warm. My legs are not long, so I'll never be tall. I'm a real spring chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken, I'm a chicken and I'm having a ball." One mother hen sat on 3 little eggs, keeping them warm in her little egg nest. Then one day she fell asleep, and a little voice said in a whispered tweet, I'm a spring chicken, I'm yellow and small. My feathers are fluffy and they're keeping me warm. My legs are not long, so I'll never be tall. I'm a real spring chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken, I'm a chicken and I'm having a ball. One mother hen sat on two little eggs, keeping them warm in her little egg nest. Then one day she moved about, and a little voice said as the chick popped out, I'm a spring chicken, I'm yellow and small. My feathers are fluffy and they're keeping me warm. My legs are not long, so I'll never be tall. But I'm a real spring chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken, I'm chicken and I'm having a ball. It's the last time. One mother hen sat on one little egg, keeping it warm in a little egg nest. Then one day she gave a sigh, and a little voice said, surprise, surprise! I'm a spring chicken, I'm yellow and small. My feathers are fluffy and they're keeping me warm. My legs are not long, so I'll never be tall. I'm a real spring chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken and I'm chicken and I'm having a ball. Chicken and a chicken and I'm having a ball. Final prayer activity, Pathways to the Future. You will need chalk, dominoes, stones or sheets of paper. Either chalk the stepping stones on a wipeable surface or take some dominoes, stones or sheets of paper. Make sure they're not a slipping hazard and take it in turns to place them down on the table or floor to make a pathway. Say you're going to ask God to help you build a good pathway into the future. For example, dear God, please help us put down paving stones of trust, love, kindness, gentleness, friendship, hope and respect. As you place each one down or write the word in chalk, say one-word prayers for what you would like the pathway into the future to be built of. Walk forward together on the pathway. We never know what the future will hold, but we can make sure good building blocks are in place in the present. God bless you as you do these activities together. Happy Easter, and may you know the joy of Jesus' resurrection. Amen.